Okay, good morning, everybody. Hello, sir.
Hi.
So,
Hi, good morning,
so
Pooja.
thank you, sir. Thank you for joining this webinar session of Vidyadaan by Media and Entertainment Skills Council. I'm sure all our participants must be excited that they all are going to listen from Ashish sir today. So I wish to bring to everybody's notice that MESC via Vidyadaan will be hosting series of webinars and will be launching Creative Warriors program free online classes powered by Vidyadaan shortly. So everybody can freeze their calendar from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day from Monday to Friday and special sessions on weekends also. So with your permission, we can have everybody click their photos with you and
Mhm.
post it on social media.
Yeah,
And yeah, so they can tag, so you all can click the photos with Ashish sir and post it on social media and mention a selfie with Ashish sir and tag Media and Entertainment Skills Council and Vidyadaan. So coming back to the session today, so I'd like to introduce you as among a name that needs no introduction in media and entertainment sector, Mr. Ashish Kulkarni. He has a legacy of being one amongst the leading original animated content producer in the country. Very well known for his unique creation of shows and character brands like Little Krishna, Big Bees, Krishna or Kans, Shaktiman, etc. Sir have been got awarded as the creative entrepreneur of the year by Entrepreneur magazine also. He have been working for the cause of promoting arts, creativity, performing arts and sports as a mainstream career option for Indian kids for last 2 decades. So, sir, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for accepting our request to be with us and share your knowledge and wisdom.
thanks so much. I'm delighted
Thank
and
you.
humble. Thanks.
So, we have a lot of questions for you.
Yes. Okay.
So, I'll start with my first question
Yeah.
that during this COVID situation, how do you think M&E industry has been impacted?
Well, it's a big question, and it's a question that strikes every person's life globally. It's a phenomenon that's happening throughout the world, and India is no different. But India is special because uh, the amount of population that we have, and uh, India as in their genes, I say that entertainment is a part of their everyday life. And I think whether it's audience or the creators and the distributors, all of them got impacted. One good thing that happened was that as this summer, we couldn't actually see a large amount of releases. We couldn't see IPL. We couldn't see, many kids' new shows that were scheduled to be released at this point in time because of the delivery issues.
Hmm.
Uh, the live entertainment through sports and few other things couldn't happen because the events couldn't take place. Uh, but I would say that uh, it has given opportunity for many of the old shows which were 30 years old, 35 years old, maybe
Exactly.
25 years old, to come back onto the main screens, and people had enough time to consume. And uh, the thing is that while you are impacted by lockdown and you're not able to leave your homes, I believe that's one of the best situation for the creators to think differently and reflect upon whatever they've been doing as the commercial production. I believe most of the creative people have struck upon very good new ideas, and those who are writers and designers would have definitely utilized the last 4 weeks to 5 weeks thinking about new ideas. And now that they have 2 more weeks to go, they would certainly be fine tuning their ideas and creating more ideas.
Yes, I'm
Uh,
sure.
Nevertheless, I would say, the impact has been so severe that there are a large number of our creative staffs who actually come together as a unit for production, and their livelihood is kind of attached to what they do and what they deliver on the shows. That's definitely been affected. The most affected kind of productions are definitely the live action productions, because the shoots are not happening. And as the shoots are not happening, we also have impact on the visual effects, because the feed of the shoots come to the visual effects artist, and as they move forward, creating effects on the given footage, that cannot come in. And I think the first 2 quarters of this financial year uh, are clearly lost for them, and I think it's going to impact the industry in a very big way. The other set of impact is going to be in terms of the consumption and socializing aspect, in terms of going to the theaters and many other areas. And I think even if the theaters open up at maybe 6 months from now, or maybe 8 months from now, people will be skeptical of going to the theaters. And that's why the live action films and animated films that have to be released in the theaters would definitely see a delay, and that impact would be felt.
Yes.
Nevertheless, I would say that there are people who are into the radio, who are into animation, who are into gaming, and creating comic books, and especially people who are writing, have continued to work from home. uh, the animation production, maybe around 30-35% people could take their workstations home and could deliver from there. The challenge that they are facing is not having enough bandwidth to deliver, the packets of data that they've created back to the studio, or back to the, editing suite, or the lineup for the director to approve. And probably in the next 2 weeks, we can see some of the couriers or Danzo to move around with hard disks, so that they can carry the data, and the lineups can be done, the approvals can be met. Because it's a very linear pipeline of production. Uh, Having said that, I think most of the gaming companies are working from home. The packet size is a little smaller than the animation and visual effects packet sizes of the data, and that's one of the reasons they can actually manage to work from the laptop, or a workstation from home, and transfer the data. Uh, but overall, there has been an impact. A large number of our artists have gone back to their hometowns, and they don't have an access to the workstation, and that is definitely going to impact. We don't know as to when this thing is going to open up. So all in all, I would say that in this financial year, most of the people, and the other stakeholders that are involved in the media and entertainment sector, have to make sure that they take care of their livelihoods first. And if we are able to take care of the livelihood, because ours is one industry where uh, everybody is a freelancer, and that affects a whole lot of people. Only about 20-25% people are on the rolls of the companies. uh, so they are not getting their monthly salary. They get project related work and project related pays. And that's a very, very big impact moving forward for the media and entertainment industry, in terms of the production side. In terms of the broadcasting side and all, of course, the repeat of the old shows have come back. The life for the kids is much better, because they would like to see their characters again and again, and the repeat is in their habit. But for many, people, I think switching over to the OTT has been a game. There's a big spike, and almost about 500, 600, 700% growth in the last 4-5 weeks. And I think that's going to be the new normal. And I really see that when you plan for the next few years, you need to plan things differently. And if you are able to take care of your livelihood and not the lifestyle, uh, as they say, I think we will be able to see much better days coming for the media and entertainment space. But I would like to, draw a positive here by saying that, when people are in lockdown and when people actually are not allowed to move outside or socialize, they definitely would like to get entertained. And better the content that we create, even in the coming years, better it would be. Now, how and which kind of content we need to create, and what would be the modality of exploiting that content or making that content available on different platforms, we will have to adapt and see the new avenues which are going to be easy for consumption for the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even younger generation now got a chance to watch Uttar Ramayana and Mahabharat.
That's right. Even Ramayana got over. Uttar Ramayana is presently going on.
Yeah.
But I'm
Oh,
happy we have Chota Bheem, we have Shaktiman, we have
yes.
Chanakya, and many other series which have come back. And I think they were iconic series at that time
Yes.
when we were kids. And I think uh, you know, uh, with the newer generation, to explain them what it is. Of course, the production styles they are not used to. They feel it needs to be a little fast paced. But I think it's good that the dialogue delivery is something which the younger generation is able to understand, and
Yes.
I think it's a great introduction to our heritage
Yes,
at large.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sir, I have another question. There has been a perceptible increase in media consumption, especially in last few weeks due to lockdown. So how do you see the demand post-COVID? Do you think it will dip down or it will remain the same or
Yeah, see, there would be certain natural things that would be happening as people presently are working from home. A large number of them are consuming a lot of data. They are all on the different webinars, or most of the meetings are happening online, and you have been able to deliver certain things in terms of what you can deliver from home. In terms of physical productions, the things are very different. uh, Luckily for the animation, gaming, visual effects, and comic sector, the large amount of deliveries happen once you get the data and the pre-production or pre-visualization or the footage. You start working on them from there. Uh, but those people who are creating original content, I think a large number of these people would definitely be uh, looking at what is the next big thing that is going to come in terms of perceived attraction for the audience, because the kind of content they got exposed to during the lockdown uh, has been very different. And I think the production qualities and the whole narrative is going to change drastically. People might not go back to the same shows that they were watching. They might want to demand for a much different kind of shows. The perceived, ideology of various writers would actually start thinking in a very different way, because it's directly a reflection of what happens in the social life. When the writers are writing new things, and I think with COVID-19 in our lives, even that would change drastically. So, although you see that it came as a surprise to all of us, and we actually went on to first see what we have missed out in terms of watching in the past few years, and we actually access that kind of content. Then there were a lot of suggestions moving around on WhatsApp in the friend circles and in the housing colonies, where people said, "Oh, you watch this. This is a good show. This is a good series. This is a good film," and that's where people started consuming that. And that whole spike that happened in watching new age content and a mix of old and new, I think this mix is going to continue for some time, because as the delivery of the new shows are going to be impacted, there might be certain deals for the finished shows which are not been released yet. They might find a chance in the next 6 to 9 months. But then subsequently, as the production starts, the new shows will come out. But the positioning of those shows and the consumption would definitely matter. When people start working, they cannot give as much viewing time as they're giving right now. So that is going to smoothen out a little bit. But I think clear selection of platforms, clear selection of the type of content that people watch. I think it's a very interesting time for us to really see through the artificial intelligence what people are watching and what uh, they would like to watch. And if OTT actually can present data like the BARC data for the broadcasters, I think we will have very interesting phenomenon coming forward.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, with this being said, what short term and long term challenges and opportunities do you see for M&E sector?
Well, M&E sector, as such, I think one of the most impacted people are the event management people and the live events people, because you know it's going to be very difficult for them to come back into the business so easily, because the whole business ideology was around getting people together, getting events together, getting broadcasting out of those events. And I think something very drastic has happened in their lives. And I think for the whole year they will have to really plan as to how one could gather their life together and see how that can be put to the best use, and
Yeah,
how and when we will be able to do the live events and the concerts and the matches and everything together. And as you know, that even Olympics has got postponed for a year. So we are hoping that 1 year down the line things would be normal. And as I said, that they will have to ensure that the livelihood is met for this 1 year. And I think they should first worry about uh, their livelihoods in short term. And I think the whole of the fraternity within the media and entertainment space need to ensure that they are focusing more on livelihood with whatever they can deliver and how they can deliver, and making sure that their family is looked after. And I think the creativity will thrive as you are pushed to the corner. I have absolutely no doubt about how creative people are going to come out with different ideas. But I think in the short term, whatever skills that you have, you need to really sharpen that and focus on delivery of some of these things. We cannot take too many things on plate because things could be a little slow. uh, and I think the budgets all over would be cut for some time. And I think we will have to really do things in a different way. In the long term, I see that they will evolve much different models. I think the co-production model will take off. The people who have actually been thought of thinking of several feature films as an idea might have to think about creating them into a short series and making that available, because the theatrical release would remain an issue for quite some time. And at the creation of various other things in terms of radio, I don't see there would be an impact on the radio programming. But if you see particularly animation visual effects, the visual effects guys are definitely impacted for this year. So they also have to ensure that they use their right skills, and the livelihoods are met. And there would be in time after 2 years or 2.5 years after the hard work, that we can again think about our lifestyles. But till that time, we will have to, in short term, look at the livelihoods. When I say this, I would say that it's an excellent time for writers. It's an excellent time for character designers, storyboard artists, and comic book artists who can actually deliver everything from home. And I think even the voice artists are doing a great job recording things at home and sending it over for us for production. So I think some of these verticals are, you know, uh, uh, a kind of a blessing if you actually have skills into these areas. And when you are in a lockdown or you are in a no production zone or a time frame, you have to concentrate on how better you can make your existing stories or your existing storylines that you're evolving or existing scripts that you're doing. And I think whether you're creating content in animation, visual effects, gaming, or in the live action, this is a time that we need to fine tune our storytelling skills. And I think that's the greatest opportunity in the short term. And implementing it in the long term would depend on what kind of platforms for audience consumption continue to grow. I think you need to fine tune your content creation to that phase. Of course, feature films will remain feature films. uh, there will be a dent for some time that people would not go to the theaters, but at some point in time it will come back. And I think in the long term you can plan feature films in a different way, but in a short term you need to really think about what you're doing. So if you're planning to actually go into the production of the feature film in this year, I would suggest you can fine tune your script and make sure that you can make it more relevant for the release in 2022-23,
Yeah.
and concentrate on ideas which would go into a shorter series, and look at the OTT, look at the broadcasting platform which is still stronger in India, and approach the right guys with whom you can actually release this content.
Yes, exactly. And so this was about the professionals. Now, I would like to know, where do you see maximum career opportunities for candidates in the coming time? Like for the students who are actually enrolled for programs in media sector?
Well, I think this question comes to me almost every day, and as you're involved with education for the last 2 decades, it's been a ever evolving situation, and people ask me what would be the best possible thing for me to do, or where should I make my career. And I think we are quite fortunate in India right now that we have opportunities uh, because it's a great country. We actually make programming in about 15 to 17 languages, whether it's television, radio, or print, or even feature films. And I think there are skills that you can use for the local, productions, and skills you can use for the national and international productions that are happening. Uh, at the same time, we are a country where we do large number of events. We like wearing colorful clothes. We have a lot of music. We have a lot of festivals, and people who are actually in the smaller towns have a great career in media and entertainment, becoming a photographer or a videography for the events that people have in their lives, and putting that into a nice album, or putting that into a nice video, which is well edited. Even the weddings are very well celebrated. Of course, the weddings are not going to be the same for the next 2 3 years. So you need to find your way of conveying a wedding through videos, and I think that can be a great career for people who can actually go to the smaller areas, and making sure that they make a career in creating right videos for weddings, which can be shared with all the family members, because they will not be allowed to attend. And I think that to me opens up a huge amount of opportunity in the short term. But I would say people at this point in time should spend a lot of time getting their basics right. Because if you are wanting to be in the space of media and entertainment, you need to ensure that you have a right aptitude to be here. At the same time, you need to be very, very specialized. And before you become a specialized person, you need to ensure that your foundation is right in whatever you're trying to do. So whether you want to be on the artistic side, or you want to be on the media and entertainment technology side, or you want to be on a media and entertainment marketing side, or you want to be on the analytics side, I think a whole lot of bunch of opportunities are open for you. And I think if you want to be in a space of storytelling, you need to have the right foundation of uh, of filmmaking as a whole. If you want to be a creator in terms of animation, visual effects, or gaming, you need to ensure that you have the right foundation of your drawing skills, your ability to you know uh, think about 3D visualization, 3D space, the color, the composition, and a large number of the grammar that is required to create a film or a show. And I think this is the right time for you to concentrate and go back to the story board to see how you can actually carve your storyboard to be making the right career into this space. Many people who are technically very sound but want to be in the creative side need to strike a balance by making sure that they are into artisan space or a techno artist space, I would say, and they can also add a large number of value to the production studios and to the ecosystem. At the same time, I believe that there is a huge opportunity in India for all the people who are technically very sound, because there are great platforms that are going to be invented as people are going to consume content on very different modes in the coming years. There's an opportunity to create these platforms, create technologies, and I think we need to very strongly support the startup ecosystem in media and entertainment technology space, because India has a large amount of things to be delivered, because we actually are a great country where testing can happen. And India is the only country where data is the cheapest right now. The telecommunication, tariffs are really low. At the same time, I would say there would be a very interesting opportunity for India, which we foresee as an industry, that animation, visual effects, and gaming outsourcing would increase after COVID-19 in India. And it's our firm belief that if you play your cards right, India would be flooded with a large amount of outsourcing work. And that's why I said that the co-production and outsourcing, the services work would further increase in India. And we need to be equipped for delivering those kind of work. India is already delivering a large amount of 2D to stereoscope conversion. India is delivering world-class visual effects. India is delivering world-class 3D animation and 2D animation. And I would say because there would be a constraint on the budgets for the next 2 3 years for production uh, in the world. India is one of the country which knows how to produce in the least kind of budgets, because especially the animation production that is happening in India, nobody can even think about those kind of budgets in which India can produce and deliver wonderful shows, in the least possible budget, because these are the budgets which are, not even into consideration anywhere in the world. And I think we are, as a complete fraternity of animation producers, we have done a fabulous job of delivering right shows in the right budgets. And I think that's going to be a helpful situation. But as this mature into actually services contracts, is going to take somewhere between 6 months to 9 months. But we should have our concentration on holding on to the artist and their livelihoods, making sure that they are able to float and they are able to take care of their livelihoods in the next 6 months to 9 months. Till then, we get and concentrate on getting the new contracts. And I think that's where, when we get the new contracts and the new budgets, the fresh talent coming in must concentrate on actually delivering shows to the required formats that is coming from overseas, and even required formats that have be relevant for the Indian shows. I would say in the space of animation, while a lot of people actually are attracted to the 3D skills, the 2D skills are going to perceive more shows. They would really see that there'll be a rise in some more 2D shows. because end of the day, the budget constraint would force them to do more 2D shows. Whereas there are very smart studios in India who are able to, uh, at a 30% to 40% higher cost, are able to deliver 3D shows. And I think that skill is going to be definitely required as to how the asset management and things are going to be used. In terms of live action, I would say the smart production and the smart script writing, where the budgets can be controlled in a much better way, but the storytelling is not compromised. I think there's going to be a big balance that they need to do. So if you are a new entrant into the space, you need to really see that you are relevant to the production studios and the production services that are required. You cannot say that I have acquired, this kind of a skill and I want to only deliver this for your livelihood and for survival for the next 1 year or 2 years. You will have to concentrate on skills that are required and concentrate on skills that are going to be relevant for you to start up and make your mark uh, in the production studios. And you have to be making sure that you're relevant in terms of all production needs so that you can be hired again and again for every single show. Those who are existing in the space and those who have experienced people, I think they might have to take a little bit of cut. They might be used to a particular lifestyle and a particular kind of packaging in terms of pace. But I think this is one time which is unprecedented, and you cannot continue to demand because if you continue to demand higher, then producers might think and hire younger skills who are more within their budgets and who are more in the kind of a balance that they would like to have. So I think it's a situation which I would not say compromising, but I think it's a reset situation for many of them, and most of them I would say, and they need to really think sensibly as to not forego any shows that come their way, or any productions that come their way, or any of the services opportunities come their way, uh, but they should uh, deliver whatever is coming to their way, and they should help their fraternity and their friends to join in and deliver, and make sure that you concentrate on whatever you are getting to survive this period, and things would be definitely better as we move forward.
Exactly. So now we will have now we are in a transition of a normal to a new normal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we have learned a lot of new phrases and words this time.
Yes,
uh,
exactly.
Corona, COVID-19, new normal. And uh, I I feel that this isolation uh, has taught a lot of lessons to a lot of people. I believe the uh, the pattern of thinking is changing. The emotional intelligence would play up very strongly, and all storytellers, as we are, we have to bother about the emotional intelligence of all of our audience, because story is nothing but which actually binds your emotions together, and that's the more powerful story is about your emotions and how you connect yourself with the story. So I think the behavioral intelligence, the emotional intelligence, and the life skills will have to be learned by the creative fraternity to keep things together in the coming times.
Even the overall education industry seems to be thinking on using digital platforms for training. So, how do you see the acceptability of online or a blended mode of training, and how impactful is it going to be?
Well, I think in many ways we don't have an option. Uh, I think it's a blessing in disguise for our digital India, you know, because we were refusing to actually go completely online, whereas the the more, the opportunities in front of us very clearly displayed that a lot of things can be derived out of going online. But people have realized in the last few weeks that online is also going to be a new normal. So a right blend of online and intervention, human intervention is going to be required. Especially, I would say there are various kind of things like you have economics, or you have mathematics, or you have maybe uh, psychology, or many other things can go online, and you can actually uh, do things extremely well. But uh, you know, in terms of creating a feature film or learning filmmaking, everything cannot happen online. Like, even you will say that I cannot become a doctor online. You need to have a human intervention, and I think most of our subjects in storytelling, as we are doing the formal education, although we actually try to structure it in the credits and the course, and put it into the UGC format and the AICT format, but it is imparted, with a right kind of a mentor. I would say the Guru Shishya Parampara. And I have seen in the last 2.5 decades, as we move into education, as we were grooming a lot of artists to come into this space. The mentor that you have, or the faculty that you have, your interest in the subject is equivalent to how good your faculty or a mentor is. And that's why if somebody is a great writer, or somebody is a great caricature artist, and if you're directly under them, your skills would be much better, because you will be able to observe well what they do and how they do things. But you would also be guided well, or mentored well, in terms of sharpening your skills in what you're trying to deliver in that space. So uh, I would see that the new entrants, as the first semester goes, or the first 2 semesters, I would always like to have most of our students in the campus, or in touch with their mentors, because that's where you start building a bond, and you start understanding the grammar, you understand the continuity, you understand the composition, the light, and a lot of other things. uh, but having said that, the situation would be such that people would not be able to travel to universities or to the schools so easily. So I think we will have to compromise it little bit, and increase maybe 70-30, that 30% contact program, and 70% online, and then research based kind of learning will have to be done. I would say that the new curriculums in the media and entertainment should create a lot of case studies, maybe the movie case studies, or scene case studies, or maybe shots. So the faculty members have their hands full to watch a lot many things, and identify and make that as a reference point for students to learn from. And then they would have watched, or went through that experience, or read that particular premise, and then have come to the classroom online to discuss things out. And I think that will be a much better way of understanding. But in terms of the visual skills, or the audio skills, or the cinematography skills, or maybe animation skills, you will require an intervention. I don't see it happening completely online. So I think that's where there would be an handicap. And I think if we can restructure our curriculums quickly, and make sure that we give them more opportunities to be online, and lesser intervention in the first 2 semesters of this coming season, I think we'll be much better off. And then we can actually increase more practicals and more interaction from maybe July 2021.
Okay, so blended mode will be the
Yeah,
king.
yeah,
Yeah. So, so let's take few questions, because the questions are adding up from your audience, and a lot of people are raising hand also. So, if you can please, let's see.
yeah.
So, I have a question here. It's like if Mr. Gautam Goyal is saying if I'm a new in animation and graphic industry, then how sir suggests to be in film and animation industry after animation course? Uh, I think it's all career guidance.
Oh, well, I think you have a lot of scope. If you're in animation, you can actually continue to be into the edutainment space where people are creating content for Byju's. There are a lot many platforms which have come up, which are providing which require skills of animation, but they are creating education content. You can, and that's very sustainable, and I think that's a long term thing, because there is a huge amount of content which is ready for conversion into the digital animated space, and you can actually choose that to be one of your career options. You can choose maybe medical animation or legal animation or any other form, because even the documentation and the journals are getting converted into the animated form, and the structured way. So it's not only that you need to come into the films and television programming, but you can actually use your animation skills in many other ways. There are many other creative shops who only concentrate on presentations required by various corporates, and I think they only create presentations. They upgrade presentations. They make it more, feel good, you know, aspect within those presentations. They add a lot of graphics to those presentations. So you actually have learning the skills would make you, capable of using the skills anywhere. And if you are based near a television channel, especially the news channels, you can create a lot of graphics for the news channels, and I think they constantly require it. So you actually can find out ways and means of delivering or using your skills in any form of delivery that is required within the industry.
Okay, we have one more question. Like, what opportunities do you see for web series and short filmmakers?
Um, so I think if you see some of the films which are created during COVID-19 lockdown, I feel they're the most beautifully created films. People have not been together, and I've seen one, like many films, which they shot on their cell phones and sent it, and they were very well edited, and a good music was put to it. And I think these are unique forms of short films, and the story is really well told. Uh, we have created a large number of awareness films during this period, for washing your hands to why we are creating one film right now with a bunch of scientists who have found out that we cannot throw our mask just like that in a dustbin, because it's got a lot of bacteria and infectious elements into it, and it is purely into like throwing your hand gloves and mask in the normal waste is not allowed. It's a medical waste. So they have created a pattern of procedure of how to destroy that, and we are just in a process of creating film, awareness film on that. And you have seen Chota Bhim also promoting hand washing and everything, stay at home and a lot of other things. So uh, I I would say the short films have got a great future, and it has become even more relevant at this point in time, because people are long form formats are not under production right now. So there is a big opportunity for small short films to come frequently, because the appetite for audience is really large, and because the new shows are not coming up, the short films would make their way. And I see that is the biggest opportunity one has at this point in time. But how innovatively you can do it during the lockdown or post lockdown is left to the creators.
Hmm. So, do you have any suggestion for small scale production houses?
I would say small scale production houses should concentrate on holding their artists together and create some of the short films during this phase, and continue to talk to the bigger studios who are going to roll out some of the bigger shows, and get outsourcing from them. And at the same time, I would say if you are an animation, visual effects, and a gaming studio, wait for 6 months to 9 months and visit the new markets. You will see a large amount of work flowing into India. So kindly concentrate on making sure that you have right website, right skills, right showreel, and you take the test for new shows, and continue to sign the shows and deliver them. So in the short term, you will get a lot of Indian shows uh, immediately deployed after the lockdown is over, or even during the lockdown. If you're talking to some of the bigger studios, the production work is still on, and if you can deliver maybe 11 minutes a month, or 22 minutes a month, or 44 minutes a month, they would be ready to share with a lot of episodes, because there has been a backlog. So in the short term, I would suggest that you talk to the bigger studios and deliver Indian shows. And as you move forward, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months down the line, you prepare that legacy of delivery to ensure that you also can concentrate on getting international work.
Yeah. So as what we can see, like the situation right now in United States and Europe, outsourcing will reduce a bit during post the COVID situation. So do you think is this the right time for Indian IP creators?
I would I would disagree with that. The reason being that there has already been a large number of shows which are uh, under production in those countries where the budgets are cut, and they cannot produce it in those countries anymore. So they will look forward to an Asian country for production anyway. It's kind of concentrating on uh, being at the right place at the right time. So you need to talk to the European animation producers, American and Canadian animation producers right now, to ensure that they are able to outsource that production to you. And even especially the Japan and South Korean production houses too, because the cost in those countries are way higher, and they were outsourcing it to some other countries at this point in time. But because of this situation, they would probably like to, work with countries where they are able to talk to them in English, talk to them, and there is a legacy of delivery at a better cost. And I think we need to see that cost arbitrage, which used to be there till 2009-10, uh, and the reason because of which the work was coming in India, we had lost it in between. But I think that cost arbitrage would play uh, uh, another set of role in the next 2 years' time, and we should encash upon cost plus skills arbitrage that we have right now to deliver these shows. So uh, I would say don't go by the reports saying this has gone down or that has gone down. You concentrate on your contacting the right studios who are actually going in production, contact the right broadcasters and OTT platforms who are actually commissioning some of these projects. And I think there would be enough work for India in time to come, especially in outsourcing. Uh, the creation of IP, as you said, I think the creation of IP is not going to die; it's only going to grow. But how brilliant ideas are created, how brilliant characters and storylines you create, is going to be important. So I think you need to study and do a lot of research before you create an idea. And there is always a trial and error method. But I would say that most of the people who are creating new IP need to first test it out uh, with the target groups, pre-test the idea with small characters and stories and short videos, and you will be able to know what resonates with the audience. At the same time, it needs to resonate with the people who are greenlighting the shows too. So I think the the green lighting of shows will also continue. Uh, so you already have a pipeline of different episodes of different shows by different broadcasters and OTT already in production. So first, pressure is to complete those because there is a gap that has been created, and these same studios are going to require more smaller studios to step up and deliver these shows if we have to finish them in time. So I think first concentration has to be on that. As we go forward, uh, we will be able to pitch new ideas that have been created right now. And once they get greenlit, probably the budget might still be constrained for the new ideas. But I think that is how it's going to be for the next 2 years. So we need to concentrate on creating that content and delivering that content in the given budget. You can very smartly articulate things while you actually build your scripts and storyboards to reduce the cost and make sure that your pipeline is so tight that you don't have to go into the rework or corrections, so that you can tightly control your budgets. But I see that there's an opportunity from both the sides, whether it's outsourcing from other studios, Indian studios or foreign studios. At the same time, a new IP has got no stopping at all. On the contrary, there are more OTT platform consumption, and I see more shows getting greenlight from the OTT platforms.
Okay. That's really great. And like people have started thinking that its outsourcing will be reduced. It's really positive thing that it's gonna come back to India only. And sir,
No, no, Indians have to make an effort. It's not only just going to fall in your lap. You
I'm
have
sure.
you have to reach out, and you have to be making sure that your studio is in shape. You have the right show reels, and you are doing the right tests. You need to get connected with these people again.
So with this answer, we are getting a query that somebody is asking if you can share the right platform for small scale studios to look for the outsourcing.
I would say that we have extremely good platforms created within Media and Entertainment Skill Council. We have within FICCI, within CII. But more importantly, we have, if you are in Karnataka, we have ABAI. If you are in Kerala, we have SAIK, Society of Animation Institutions of Kerala. We are forming an association in Tamil Nadu. We already have a great association of Twaga in Telangana. We have also formed an association in West Bengal. We already have TASI and Maratha Chamber of Commerce in Maharashtra. And we are also concentrating on making different policies for different states. So please be connected as a group within your state. We have actually recommended a great policy for Haryana and Punjab also. And we are in a process of forming a great policy for Orissa as well as Madhya Pradesh, and there is one film policy already done for Gujarat, but we are pushing for an animation policy, and we have a great animation policy for Goa also. So I think get connected with studios within your state, within your vicinity, and you will be able to jointly do something and reach out to us. And we would definitely like to guide you as to where to get in touch. There is something called as ACPC, Services Export Promotion Council under the Commerce Ministry, and they are helping us. Animation is on the priority sector for promotion out of India. We are pushing the government to do a national policy on AVGC, ARVR, and I think through that we have different markets to visit, and the government of India and the state governments are helping studios to reach to this market and have pavilions to promote ourselves and to promote our skills. So be a part of these delegations. Visit MIPCOM, MIPTV, NSC. As and when they open, they are going to be virtual at this point in time. Kids Screen and Ottawa Animation Festival, and many other film and short film festivals all over, where you can actually display your skills and get work, outsourcing work. I think that's where you will have to do a little bit of reaching out and positioning your studios. And we have also created a list on NFDC, website, and even on the Media and Entertainment Skill website, where all the studios are listed with their deliveries and skills, where you get in touch with the nodal officer there and say that you're open for delivering this kind of shows. If any of inquiries coming, please guide them to your to our studio. And I think once you are listed there, you would be benefited, you will be noticed, and you can continue to take benefit of this, because industry is getting much more and much better organized at this point in time, at the state level, at the national level, and uh, there is a very constructive policy making that is happening. So please take a benefit of this so that we can actually build a big hub out of India.
Okay, great. As the time is running short and we have more about 50 questions to be answered, so I'd like your personal note for students seeking a career in M&E industry before we close it.
Yes, I would say that uh, our industry is all about how good you can create, uh, you know, and innovate new ideas and new stories. Don't become a copycat. Please make sure that you're reading. You're not only on a WhatsApp all the time, but you spend time reading very serious things. And if you want to be in media and entertainment, you need to watch a lot of things. And I think your observation skills need to improve. Your hand-mind connect. Don't lose it to the software. People think that learning computer is learning animation, learning computer is learning VFX. It's not going to help you. You cannot become a great painter by learning Photoshop. You need to be a painter to use Photoshop more effectively and create an illusion. So don't be under the impression that it is just going to happen to you by learning a software. You need to learn the basics, and don't lose touch with the basics, is what I would like to tell the students. Practice and riyaz, what we say, if one has to become a singer, they sing for hours every day. They do something called as riyaz. If one has to become a player, they go to the ground. They concentrate on fitness. They concentrate on you know playing things, and putting uh, their best skills to practice every single day, whether it's raining or it's winter or it's summer. They don't lose it. But why can't people in our field do the same thing? If actor goes in, spends a lot of time learning dance, learning like doing physical exercise, and maintaining a regime so that he is relevant and young to the screen, and he can do a lot of he or she can do acting much better and are relevant for many other shows. It goes same with all other artists. And I think I would say that you need to concentrate and do the riyas very, very regularly. If you are into animation, visual effects, you need to sketch every single day. People might tell you, gone are those days, but the best performing people on the shop floor that I've seen always have drawing skills, and they are able to relate things much better. And all animators need to have a great acting skills. So stand in the front of a mirror every single day and act things out, make faces, make expression, do the dialogue delivery uh, with acting. And that's what is going to be your practice uh, as you want to make a career in this space. At the same time, use your camera very efficiently, because all of you have cell phones today and you have cameras. Take great pictures inside the house, outside the house. Learn where is the source of light. Understand the source of light. Understand the composition. Understand the continuity if you're making a video, and make sure that you edit it, and you edit it show so critically that if you have taken 3,000 pictures, you reduce it to 10 pictures, and show us the best 10 pictures that you think they are. And I think it will give you a lot of sense of understanding of composition, storytelling, and this thing, something that institutions will not teach you, but something that you need to practice on your own. And I think don't lose touch with the basics. paint by paintbrush, at least sometimes in the month. Do the sketching all the time, whenever you find time. Make acting, make faces, read a lot of books, watch a lot of movies and content, not for entertainment sake but for technical sense, to understand how the editing is done, why they have done the editing like that, why these kind of stories have come like this, and what has done well into this story, why people liked it, didn't like it, why this character has been chosen to act in this film. Reason it out and watch it for appreciation and watch it for study. Don't watch it only for entertainment. And I think that's the mantra for you to make the best career in media and entertainment.
Okay, great, sir. So, with this, we have 50 plus questions running right now, but I think it's time to say thanks to you. And on behalf of Media and Entertainment Skills Council and Vidyadaan, I really wish to thank you for the wonderful session. We have learned a lot. I'm sure everybody had a great time and learned a lot from your session. Thank you so much, everybody, for your tremendous response to webinars. Your feedback is important to us, so do send your feedback. You can email us at vidyadan@mescindia.org. Creative Warrior free online programs are launching soon. So take your time to register and learn a skill for life. So do register on Vidyadaan. Do tag us on the selfies that you have taken with Ashish sir on the social media handles. Thank you so much, and we'll get back to you with our new session on Monday.
Thanks so much.